Hey, this is Peyton Dufour, and we've reached the conclusion of ELRC 7525, Professional Development for K through 12 and Technology Integration. And so this is my Google site. This Google site shell has been built out over several courses throughout my time in the program. This is a teacher education center that I will use in the future for my school district and continue to build, revise, tweak, and add on to. So this is something that I'll continually improve as I go forward into my career. Okay, so the homepage gives you a brief overview of DeSoto's vision and values about technology integration, and then it gives kind of like an overview of what the navigation would look like for the site. I actually have a little video here that you can click on and play that walks you through the overview of the site, basically. So it's just an additional additive here as a welcome to the site. Okay. And so I'm moving into collaborative professional development, and then we'll go into my tilt table. I'm really focused on Google Learning and Google Professional Development for purposes of what I've been studying in all of my courses. And this is my research interest. This is what I want to continue to do, really thinking about coaching and mentoring. So everything that I thought through in the processes of this course and thinking about professional development resources and curating resources really aligned to my evaluation of a Google Learning initiative. I worked on this evaluation plan in Dr. Monroe's class, and so it's translating over into our course for K through 12 professional development. So a lot of this stuff will sync with that evaluation plan. So for phase one of Tilt, click on my document here. And so this really aligns to designed by ISTE standards and aligns with virtual learning clusters and using those practices for a Google infused framework with virtual learning and thinking about pedagogical strategies and using various modalities of synchronous and asynchronous learning. And then that translates and leads to building proficiency in the Google suite of tools. And then we're going to go over to phase two. Phase two focuses on certification and onboarding of employees to the DeSoto Parish system, focused on preparing teachers for Google Level 1 certification through learning modules, asynchronous and synchronous formats. Those who have already obtained Level 1 certification will engage with some more advanced coursework for Level 2 certification opportunities. And then at a district level, everybody will participate in virtual learning clusters to think about that Google framework, and then also using the SAMR model for instructional design practices and their different content areas. And so by the end of this, hopefully teachers can create digital portfolios or Google sites that document some authentic artifacts of what they've designed or used with students in their classroom. And then for phase three of Tilt in Google, this is like reaching the end goals for certification. So 100% of certified educators district-wide on Level 1 make at least 75% reach Level 2 for Google certification. Google trainers provide a mentoring model that provides authentic experiential learning. Create and sustain blended learning environments using those 6 modalities of virtual learning and making sure that all of these things are aligned to the ISTE standards for students and educators. Okay, so that's an overview of Tilt. Let's go back to collaborative professional development for a minute, and we'll do a review. I enjoyed looking at the different plans that were provided to us. Some of these were very interesting. I love the Disney concept, digital storytelling. I'm really thinking about e-portfolios and digital stories using Google Sites for that. Really, really awesome idea. The YouTube learning, I'll just click on that for a minute. Okay, so this is kind of a professional development. I provided a YouTube channel here of thinking about how this is linked to my YouTube channel and how I would use this in instruction. And then for vlogging, some of the things I thought about that could be really cool for professional learning opportunities: Google Tech Talks by Google Level 2 experts, Google Hacks and How-Tos. Teachers are always looking for a quick hack into things, very short videos. Teaching reflections for vlogging, and then professional development spotlights. I really like that idea. So these are some awesome ideas that could be integrated for digital DeSoto. And then when I'm thinking about the gamification process for professional development, I'm thinking about our badging system that we've actually, making it a competition when it comes to professional development and certifications. And so DeSoto developed this badging system that goes from bronze to platinum. And with each certain percentages of certifications between level 1 and 2, campuses would get some new devices, opportunities for a little bit of budget for accessories, professional workshop opportunities being sent to ed tech conferences each year. So just different incentives for that different level of implementation for certification. Okay, so that's a review of my professional development programs. Dr. H did a great job of providing this Padlet of shared resources when we're thinking about our professional development plan. I actually use some of these things, thinking about my plan and curating my resources. I actually used Desiree Alexander is actually on my Padlet. Desiree is actually a consultant, and she's partnered with DeSoto to deliver professional learning workshops. Actually about to start a Google Trainer professional development session with her here in the next week. So I'm going to be working on my Google Trainer certification pretty soon. So all really, really cool sources. I clicked on this. Her site is pretty much kind of thinking about the concepts of what we're doing in the class right now. And I love how she has this laid out here. She does things with like her presentation. She breaks it down by categories, tech tools in Google, like awesome stuff. She even takes you into the certification process. She actually offers courses on certification that can help prepare you for the test, and then just different categories for different ed tech strategies and tools. Really cool. Distance learning, leadership, self-paced courses was what I was talking about. Conference. It's just everything's so cool. You can sign up for her newsletter here, get updates. She also has a YouTube channel. She presents at a number of conferences. She's a ed tech guru. She's pretty much certified in everything that you can be certified in. So really enjoy her resources. And then anything that was Google aligned, I really enjoyed. And then like the Future Ready Schools case studies, we read and did some discussions on that during this 7 weeks module, and that's been really beneficial, looking at case studies and how you can build out professional learning for your district. Something for DeSoto to really think about. Okay, so going over to my resources that I curated, my assessment survey. This again, everything Google aligned to my initiative. And these are the 3 main things that it's going to do: determine skill and proficiency level of technology using educators, how educators feel about delivering virtual instruction, needs and resources. And it can go, basically, it identifies the school site, content area, grade level, years of teaching, and then it asks some Google-centered questions to help make evaluations. And then my SAMR plan is aligned to a virtual learning cluster that I worked on this summer, having to do with digital portfolios. And this takes you through looking at how we use portfolios as a learning modality for students and learning. And then I go into the SAMR model of Google Tools, gives you a model here. And then I just go into some examples with substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And then it all ties back together looking at synchronous and asynchronous learning using time tools and teams. And then it gives the goals for each of those here. And I won't read all these to you. Hopefully everybody can get my website and be able to browse through it. But this is what I'm tying back to the big strategic vision of thinking about this learning initiative for Google. And then my Padlet, I really enjoyed Padlet and designing and curating these resources. I love Nearpod. I'll put some Nearpod resources on here, some Google tutorials. Again, I use Desiree Alexander's website. Google Level 2 certified educators in DeSoto put together a digital DeSoto support library that looks at tutorials on digital tools and platforms, and we curated and produced those tutorials. And then I found this really interesting webinar on the Google Infused Classroom. Really cool. And then an important piece that I really thought was important, we use the TAP system in DeSoto. It's our teacher, a part of our teacher effectiveness model here in DeSoto. And NIAT is National Institute of Excellence in Teaching. This rubric companion they released has to do with looking at virtual learning companions. And they've also developed some additional resources and partnered with the Department of Education to help provide resources to K through 12 educators. So I use this on a daily basis, especially here lately. We're really thinking about how we're going to engage our kids at home and in the classroom. It's a constant learning process, but this has been a really good resource as we're moving into this new culture of learning. So been really great. So that's my Padlet. I'll continue to add on to that and build that out as I attend workshops and conferences. I'll continue to build that out. And hopefully I can link some of this stuff to my blog and to my Twitter feed. Got a lot of good stuff going here. So let's go over to my newsletter. I loved using Canva. This was an awesome activity. That was for one of our modules that we worked on. I used Canva for education, so I had all the free features and all the tools and everything I needed to fully use it to its best effect. So I named this Digital DeSoto Downloads. I put a section in here about certification for Google, mentioning those free instructional workshops with the Department of Education and NIAT. And I actually linked the videos here. So if you click on these links, I'll just show you. If you click on a link, it takes you actually to a module, a video module, and it's in different categories. So this one's on instruction. There's one on learning environment and one on planning. And teachers can go in at their own pace and go through these modules. And then some other things I really wanted to think about Google-wise were Google Slides and choice boards. I did a Casey Bell Shake Up Learning course this summer, a master slides course. And one area she covered was using slides to make choice boards. Slides Mania is a great resource for templates. I'm using digital notebooks in my instruction right now with my English students. This gives you a tutorial on how to update digital notebooks with Google Slides. I use it every day, and it's a lifesaver. It's a very quick way to assess students, and I can do it. I can do it instantly. So it's a really cool trick to check out. Here's a tutorial on Nearpod that I created for Digital DeSoto's support library. And then again, going back to student engagement, it's been a big talk in our school. I found this article on Edutopia about strategies to improve engagement. So my first issue of Digital DeSoto Downloads, hopefully this will be produced more on a mass scale. Hopefully Mr. Corley, my superintendent, can see this as something that would be released and produced on a regular basis. And so finally, we have arrived at our professional development plan. And to give you some brief background into this, I focused on Nearpod and synchronous and asynchronous learning. Nearpod is basically an extension of Google, and this would actually be a module as part of the larger course for the Google professional learning initiative. So this would be one module of many modules in that course. And so I'll just go through this briefly. I give you a course description. It's really focused on learning design. It's meant to help assist instructional technology leaders deliver professional development using this as a resource. And Nearpod actually provides resources to tech facilitators so they can deliver professional development to their site. So a lot of the stuff I did get from Nearpod, these are free resources that people can use. And then this gives you an overview of my technology and tools, Chromebook, extensions, Nearpod user account. For the Nearpod user account, to get the full features of Nearpod, you have to be a district level user. My DeSoto has purchased licenses for groups of teachers who use this regularly in their classrooms. So I have full access to this. If you have the free version, you won't have access to everything on that Nearpod has to offer. One of those being Google Slides, because you can actually create the Nearpod from Google Slides. It's an add-on feature. So you'd actually have to be a district level user to do that. But that's just a little bit of information. And then my ISTE standards here: learner, collaborator, designer. My audience, of course, is for K through 12 educators in DeSoto. And the basis of this, it's not intended for some people might have various levels of proficiency in technology. Some of the challenges may be trying to bridge technology awareness and pedagogy for some educators. And so a lot of these modules would encompass addressing those milestones as you go through the learning process. And then a Nearpod module. Here's a list of my objectives for this module. This is a basic beginner's course. Outcomes. Module assessment part 1, I give a breakdown of what it would look like for a 1.5 to 2 hours, kind of timing it. I put the Nearpod link in, the code, incorporating some activities. So Nearpod would be the tool mainly used for basically teachers can click around in the Nearpod and not break anything. So it's actually a hands-on learning opportunity there. And then how I would actually assess this. This is a holistic evaluation rubric, and it goes from unsat to advanced. And then it gives those various levels of success criteria for each level. And then instructional methods, polls, media files, open-ended questions, collaboration boards, Google Meet breakout rooms by content. So if I'm doing this virtually in like a webinar format, synchronous and asynchronous presentation options. So I could actually record this using Google Meet. Like I could facilitate it live synchronously and then record it for asynchronous purposes later. And then here are my materials. So the first section the first link, these links are for synchronous presentations because there's 2 versions. You have a live version and then a student-paced version. The synchronous version is the live version. So you have the codes for each of the Nearpod assessments. And then the asynchronous is the student-paced. So you have the links and the codes for those. And then I included this handout that I designed for DeSoto Parish, this tutorial, and then the extension. There's the tutorial video that I also created, which is in DeSoto's support library. Okay. And then plan ahead. This would be to be determined by district PD calendar. Be hosted at our media center, and then it gives you technologies, participant groups, and then facilitators would be Google trainers per grade level. And then this would be the Google form that participants would fill out at the end of the training. So that covers my plan. And actually, to do this, in Dr. Sanica's course, we looked at Addie a lot, and I actually used her Addie template for the professional development course that I developed. So this gives you an outline of what the modules would look like. So the module that I just walked through, it's included in here. So you just can scroll through here and look. So like here it is for this gives you like the condensed version of it. So module topic 2, and then it basically gives all the breakdown of the design of the course using Addie. So I went ahead and incorporated that into my professional development plan, and that's it, guys. And that's the basis of professional development for DeSoto. And like I said, continuing to nurture this and grow it, and hopefully gain more experiences where I can go to workshops and continue to update and tweak and curate the resources, continue to update those, and then any other maybe professional learning opportunities that I participate in or even facilitate, I can continue to do that and link to my Twitter and my blog. So down at my bottom of my website, you have my Twitter feed at pdo4tech03 is my Twitter feed. And then my blog, Empowered EdTech Teacher. I'll go in and try to update those pretty soon and include some of these resources. So I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed the learning in this course. I can't believe that I'm finally coming to the conclusion of my time in the program. Coming into the last spring. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I really hope that this connection stays strong and that I can continue to contribute to this program in a meaningful way. So thank you so much. And I really hope you enjoy the resources that I've provided to you here. Till next time.